Okay, to say I'm proud of this group is probably an understatement. It's a group of players that you guys, the local guys at least, have heard me talk all year about how special a group I think they are and how hard they worked in the offseason. We played a very challenging schedule, and they've kept battling every step of the way. And tonight they had to do the same thing. I felt like we had a chance to make some plays in the first half, get some guys on the ground. We didn't do a very good job of it. We had some guys free the ball on defense. And in the second half, we made those plays, and we made enough of them to win today against a good football team. So I'm proud of them. Questions?
How do you explain the difference in the defense?
You know, Maryland's got talented football players, and it's really just a step here, a fit there, a wrap up on a tackle, wrapping and rolling instead of being up top and getting stiff armed. It's really just the little things that make the difference. I'm not trying to give you a coach speak answer, but if you go back and watch that film, you're going to see we had some guys free the ball in the first half. We just didn't make the plays, and we just did a better job of doing what we do in the second half.
We've talked a lot about what Gary's legacy was going to be at Rutgers. Do you think he defined it in that 17-minute span where he led you guys back?
Not for me. Not for me. I think because to me, Gary has done a lot in his career at Rutgers. He'll go down as one of the all-time greats, before this game was ever played. Does this add to it? I think it certainly adds to it. But I don't think that this game defines Gary, but I think it's a great example of what he is and a great example of what he's done for our program. I didn't realize it was the largest comeback in the history of the program. I didn't know that until after the game, but it doesn't surprise me that Gary would be involved in that.
Kyle, can you tell what we saw in that last stand there? You get with the fumble and you made the 2 stops on the 3rd and 4th and short.
Yeah, it was a great job by our defense of really bowing their neck and making a play, and you could see it. Robert was really disappointed that he put that ball on the ground, and I told him, and I grabbed him right away, and I said, Robert, you're going to be a big part of the reason why we win this game. And I didn't know it was going to be with the defense stopping them in 4 downs, but the defense was telling Robert the same thing. Don't worry about it. We'll get the stop. And so if they believed going on the field that they could get the stop and help us win that game, and like I said, they're a good football team, so it was going to take everything we had to win this one.
Kyle, to your right, when you look for a turning point, is there one? Is it the roughing the punter? Is it the touchdown at the end of the half? What do you look at?
I think that drive, and then the drive to start the second half, that's a 14-point swing that kind of gets the ball rolling. Without that, I don't know if we would have had enough time to come back. But that's probably the turning point in the game for us was those 2 drives, the end of the first half and then the start of the second half with the kick return, and then 3 plays later we're in the end zone. So that created some momentum for us within the game.
How many fiery speeches at halftime? What did you tell the team?
I told the team at halftime what I told them before the game. I said, we're going to empty the tank. And this is game 12 for us. And we came down here to empty the tank and give them everything we had. And we certainly made the corrections and talked about all the things we could do better. But we want to just go back out there in the second half and empty the tank. And I told them, you're going to look up at some point, and all of a sudden we're going to be in this game and we're going to have the lead. And sure enough, they made me right.
Because there's some vindication for the defense there, and that they made that final stop after the first half that they had to endure.
I'm not sure what you mean by vindication, because I think, that to me, this defense plays very hard week in and week out, and have the results every week for us this year been what we wanted? No, they haven't, but I've never doubted how much they want to, and I've never doubted their effort. And that was the same tonight, even in the first half. We didn't make some plays. We had some opportunities we didn't make them. In the second half, we did. So to me, they didn't need vindication. I've been proud of them all season long, but I think it's exciting for them because everybody enjoys success. They had a lot more success in the second half.
Kyle, the fact that these are the 2 new teams in the conference play this game is sort of classic kind of football game. What does that mean? And would you summarize quickly, obviously, the entry of Rutgers and Maryland this year into the Big Ten?
I don't know if I'm the person who should be speaking for Maryland, but I can tell you that when we were brought in at Rutgers, I felt we were a perfect fit for the Big Ten. Both from a football standpoint, 9 bowl games in 10 years. From an academic standpoint, we've achieved very high, whether you look at us from an APR standard or a GSR standard, however you look at it. I think our culture, academically and athletically, fits the culture of the Big Ten. So I thought we were a good fit going in. I expected this team to be playing in the postseason. We will be playing in the postseason. Do we have a lot of things we need to work on as a football team? Sure we do. Yeah, that's it. We'll address those in the offseason. But I'm really proud of our first impression. I said all along that first impressions in life matter. I think we've made a pretty good first impression at Rutgers.
Coach, can you talk about the running game? Even when you were down, it seemed like you never got away from him. How key was that?
I think it's important. You know, you don't want to be one-dimensional. I think it makes it very hard in your linemen up front if you become one-dimensional and just throw the ball every down, and you have to put up with the blitzes and the pass rush. And looking at the statistics at halftime, we actually were pretty effective running the football. Both Josh and Robert had a good first half, so but we felt like we could still mix those in and have good plays, and those guys have given us a chance to break the big one and just give Gary enough opportunities to push the ball down the field. And I think Jay told me, did we have 3 receivers over 100 yards? Yeah. So I'm not sure if we've ever done that before. So guys were catching the ball for him too.
What did you see from Maryland on film defensively that led you to believe you can get Janarian underneath on a lot of routes and everything?
And that's just a matter of Gary reading out his progressions. It's not a play where you say, okay, on this play we're going to throw it to Janarian on a crossing route. We've had those crossing routes built in most of the season, and the coverage dictated that it allowed us to get the ball there. And Janarian did a nice job tonight catching the ball. I don't know if he had a drop on the.
Now that it's come and gone, what do you think? What were Ralph's emotions before, after the game? What can you tell us? What do you think it meant to him?
I've learned a lot, from Ralph. You're gonna have a chance to talk to him. We're gonna bring him in after this. But I've learned a lot from Ralph all year, and what I'll take away from this week for the rest of my career is, Ralph didn't want to talk about himself. He wanted it to be about the game. He wanted it to be about the game plan. He didn't want it to be about Ralph Frazier. And he's the truest sense of the word when you say professional that you have. We're very fortunate to have on our staff.
It was a lot on the road recruiting Monday as a staff, off of big 7-5. What does it mean?
Winning always helps. I said that last week too when we didn't win. There was a question about something to that effect, but winning always helps. And when you're playing these regional games where you're going to see the other people in the school and recruiting a lot of the same players, winning always helps.
Time for 2 more. I said halftime. What was your speech like at the end of the game?
For me, I didn't give any speech at the end of the game. I let Ralph talk to the team. I'll talk to him when we get back to the locker room. This is really his night. He won't say that, but I'll say it.
Overall, Kyle, what is it for this team to hang in there down 35-10 when what's happened in other games like this? I mean, what does it say about the character of that group?
For me, it just confirms how I felt about this group all along. And even in some of the games where we weren't able to come back, I never felt like there was any quit. The effort level was excellent, and I've been proud of the effort level all year. And for me now in this game, what they found out is if you continue to play with that kind of effort, good things will happen, and for the rest of their lives, or at least I don't know if I want to do it again anytime soon. They'll be able to say they were part of the biggest comeback in the history of the program. And when you coach at the birthplace of college football, that's a lot of football games.
Thanks, Kyle.